Good morning, Blues! It's a great morning. It is a great morning to be a Manchester City fan. It's been a while. It's been a while. Manchester City fans are top of the world right now. This feels so good. There's problems ahead. I know, we've got difficulties ahead. There was not a perfect performance. I mean, I know it was just Man United. Haaland needs to chill himself a little bit because, you know, it was 5 goals against Moldova and 2 against United. It's, you know, same sort of quality of teams we've gone up against there, or Haaland in particular has at least. It's not like we're going up against good teams like Arsenal and Grimsby, for example. You know, really good teams out there, really good teams that certain teams struggle against, you know. But, you know, we beat what's put in front of us. We wiped the floor with Man United 3-0. It's a time to laugh as a Manchester City fan. We got 2 beasts up front and in between the sticks for Manchester City. Unbelievable. The spine of our team now. If you think about Josko Vardiol and Ruben Diaz, or even John Stones as well, with Donnarumma behind them, in front of them you've got Rodri, you've got the creativity and brilliance and sprinkling of stardust of Phil Foden and Cherky, and Erling Haaland up top. What a spine that is. There is no problems. I'm not going to get carried away, and I do want to remember the side we went up against. But Jesus, man, the excitement levels have just spiked. Absolutely gone through the roof, and it's a fickle sport, football, isn't it? It's a fickle game where the narrative and the story and the feel-good factor just goes up and down, peaks and troughs. Understandable and very, very fair for Manchester City fans to feel good today. Enjoy it. Enjoy this moment. Love it. Absolutely love it, Manchester City fans. Let's have a look at the stats, because interesting. This is old school Manchester City sort of derby feeling. I felt like that before the game. I felt like the levels between the two clubs, the narrative between the two, the rebuilds, you know, with City going through a rebuild that's 3 games old and United going through a rebuild that's over a decade old. You know, differences between the two clubs, obviously. But the interesting one is that possession. There, 45% for Manchester City and 55% for United. When's the last time we saw that? That's an odd one for me. That is a strange scenario that I thought Pep in his post-match interview, as always with Pep, he reverses the narrative. When we've lost, he's usually upbeat in his interview and trying to pick things up and rectify the situation. He was very despondent in this win. And I'm wondering whether it was a case of just dousing the fire a little bit and just like calming things down. Let's not get carried away because we've got Napoli, we've got a tough game against them at home midweek. Come and tune in for the watch along of that one. And then, of course, we've got Arsenal the following weekend as well. So there's tough games where Manchester City's narrative could very much be like bang, flipped back the other way. But if we can take this momentum, this feel-good factor in those games, beat Napoli, and then who knows against Arsenal. And if we beat them, then who knows what could happen this season, and this could all change very, very quickly. But the alarming thing for Pep, more so for Pep than anyone, I think, is that possession, because I think his style, that is not Pep. He's openly said that that's not good. I don't want my sides to play like that. That was not intentional. So what are we going to do about that? But the great news about this is it showcased one thing to Pep, is that you can still win a game without controlling the game. Absolutely. And how many times, and he said this himself, how many times have we seen sides do this to us? It's a taste of your own medicine. You know, counter-attacking, transitional football on a Man United side that had more of the ball than we did. That was crazy. Absolutely crazy. But I think we played to the strengths of the scenario. You know, I think we used the moments wisely. We have better players than they do. With Donnarumma making that save in a key moment of the game. Haaland taking the majority of his chances. One was a sitter, but still, he took the majority of his chances incredibly well. Phil Foden pulling strings. So it was a very unusual game that became a game of moments rather than control. The quality wasn't quite at the levels of past Manchester derby, certainly from the Manchester City side at least, when we've wiped the floor with them. But the scoreline still became a dominant scoreline, regardless of the control. So I'm very happy with that, and good to know that we can play a different way and know that we've got the talent on the pitch to win a game regardless of the control. Great news for me. I think that's great news. What we do going forward now is going to be interesting to see how Donnarumma needs to get on the training ground. Pep needs to get a hold of him and not educate him to the point of teaching how to goal keep, because, I mean, the guy knows how to keep the ball at the back of his net. He proved that with an unbelievable save. But the key learning curve for him will be how City as a team, not just Donnarumma, how as a team we play to his strengths, because we know he can't pass that ball out like Ederson. He's not got that level of distribution. So play to his strengths and, getting that ball forward and the amount of long balls he played, I don't think there's a problem with that. If we can get on the end of it, we've got a beast up front who's going to get on the end of most of these things, or at least cause problems, and we need to win those second balls and improve in that department. But we won 3-0 playing that way, and Donnarumma is just, brilliant. Let's have a look at the player rating, shall we? Donnarumma, worldy save. Absolutely sensational save. Proving that stats don't really matter, to be honest. That was one save. One save we're talking about. It won us the game. It won us the game. It's as simple as that. You can put as many stats out there as you want about a goalkeeper, but when he pulls off a save like that in a match, 2-0 down, you know full well the old Manchester City, the very, very recent Manchester City, that goes in the back of the net, making it 2-1 with well over half an hour still to play, or including stoppage time at least. That becomes crumble time. A good old apple crumble. Manchester City just would have collapsed and the mentality would have sank. United would have gone up a notch. The atmosphere in the stadium would have gone a bit jittery and everything would have changed. But one monstrous human being with the outstretched arm span of a pterodactyl just went kaboom and just went, no, not today, not in my house, in my new home. And I like it around here. The way he was running around that pitch celebrating was a surprising amount of understanding for someone who's just arrived at Manchester to fully comprehend that this is a Manchester derby, and he showcased to the Manchester City fans, to me, that he already gets it. He already gets it. I'm excited. I want to see how it's going to pan out over the course of the season, because this is one game. There was definitely moments where he gave the ball away and he went long with it and it came back quite quickly. Understandable that that's going to happen with Donnarumma in between the sticks. I wouldn't be surprised to see Trafford play in and out this season. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more rotation than usual, but the press wasn't that intense from United. I don't think it was that intense. They weren't closing down Donnarumma, to be honest, so I don't think there was a reason not to play him, because I feel like the weaknesses to his game were not being exposed enough to not say the strengths to his game shouldn't be on the pitch, and they absolutely should have been, and won us the game as a result. Big performance from Donnarumma. What a debut, 8.5. Diaz, I thought he was back to his best. I thought like he dealt with everything that came into the box really well. And I thought the whole back line did, in all honesty. I mean, when's the last time we said that coming out of a game, What a solid back line performance with the keeper behind them who was pulling off a worldy save to win us the game. Solidity, clean sheet, clearing the ball, enjoying defending. I love defending me. I'm a bit of a defender when I play. More of a DM, but still more of a... I like the art. I like the art of putting your head in where it hurts and just clearing things, getting on the end of it. I enjoyed Ruben Diaz and the whole back line's performance yesterday, complemented by Donnarumma behind him. Man, I'm absolutely buzzing. You've got to keep it going, though. It can't be a case of, we drop points. Well, we do drop points against Napoli if we don't win the game, of course, because it's that league format, of course, and I just don't want to get into that situation where City are now one game buzzing, next game, duh. You know what I mean? I can't do that. We've got to go and wipe the floor with Napoli, which is an infinitely harder task than beating Manchester United. They are levels above Man United, Napoli, so it's going to be a really tough game, but I'm looking forward to it. Leadership as well is being added to this squad. Ruben Diaz is a leader, but behind him, I saw Donnarumma barking orders at him, and he was laying down the law to him, and Ruben Diaz was like, yeah, okay, point taken, Good cohesiveness. Love to see it. Kasanov, AK-45. He has to play. He is an absolute beast. I've always admired his style, and I've always suggested that his age would probably lend itself to needing more time to becoming a regular starter. I think I was won over. I know a lot of you guys, and fair play to you guys, you've been chomping at the bit to see Kasanov play more frequently. I've certainly not been against it. Whenever he started, I'm looking forward to it because I love his style. I've always loved his style, and his brute nature to just throw everything at the ball, and pace as well, his athleticism, his determination, that steely determination that he's got was there for all to see and has been there his whole career, a short career at Manchester City. But his attitude, mate, in a Manchester derby, we live for this as Manchester City fans. Again, gets it. Donnarumma, he gets it. Already, he gets it. Kusanov, I just think that's his style. I'm not sure he actually does get it. It's just he gets every game. You know what I mean? It's not because it was a Manchester derby. It's because it's Kusanov. That's just his style. Throwing himself at the ball, winning everything. He was smashing Doku in the back, flattening players. Love to see it. Absolutely love to see it from Kusanov. Really, really impressive performance from him. Vardiol. He smashed Mazraoui. I remember that one. Just like, come on, love it. Absolutely love that from Vardiol. I don't think his numbers are that great compared to the likes of Diaz and Kusanov, for example. The ball didn't really drop his way when the crosses came in. I think Kusanov had a lot more to deal with. Diaz, I think that was just circumstantial because of where the crosses were landing at that moment. But Vardiol did deal with everything that came his way. There just wasn't that much of it throughout the game. Very composed, zero mistakes, very impressed. I'm just glad to see him back, giving him a 7. Nico O'Reilly, bloody brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's levels above his age. There was so little joy for United going down his side, I thought throughout the game, and it wasn't just the defensive performance that stood out to me. It was the attacking moments where he came forward with a bit of purpose and some really nice passes. That nutmeg to feed it through to Phil Foden, then Foden to Doku, and then Doku to Haaland to make it 2-0 Manchester City. What a move that was, by the way. You know, all from Nico O'Reilly with that little flick, the little nutmeg, absolutely sensational. It was an outstanding performance from Nico O'Reilly, and I think this is a guy who's going to be consistently hitting 7s and 8s out of 10 whenever he plays. He always seems like that guy. He doesn't seem to drop to have a stinker ever. I mean, he's not on the pitch long enough really to be judged long term yet, because he's been in and out of the squad. Started really last season putting himself in the Manchester City 11. This season, I have no problem seeing him in a starting 11 going forward. And I mean, he's got versatility to his game as well. So, buzzing. What a vital player he's going to be to our squad. Massive player. 8 out of 10. Rodri. I think he needs time. I think he looked very rusty in the first half. I think he was a downside to our performance. I think a lot of the 45% possession that we saw in that game came down to him. I felt like he struggled to control the game. I felt like his passes were loose, his touches were loose. There was a couple of times where he just tried to take the ball with him on the half turn and do that sort of spin with the ball and drag it on the instep like that. And he carried on going past him and he gave the ball away, and United were able to attack because of Rodri's giving it away. He needs time. He's just come back, you know. I think it's Pep did the right thing bringing him off when he did. I think it was around the 75th minute or so. He's going to get good, though. You know that Rodri, there was moments where we saw what he's capable of. His vision was still all right in moments. I thought in the second half he settled down. And I thought, overall, Rodri, not his greatest day, but it's just a case of getting back. It reminded me of his first season at Manchester City, where it was like his first season where he was getting back and finding his feet. He's now doing that again, having a year out of the game. It's understandable to see, but I do genuinely believe he will be back to his best. 6 out of 10 for Rodri. Nico G came on for 14 minutes, kept it simple, added plenty of solidity. When United were throwing the ball forward, I thought it was an impressive performance, and it's again good to know that you've got a player like Nico Gonzalez who can come on and cover for Rodri. I don't think there's going to be a problem with seeing him in the starting 11 in future. If you want to add that extra level of solidity, say we're in a second leg against a side that you know are going to throw the kitchen sink at us, you can play Rodri and Nico Gonzalez together to have that extra protection in front of a back four. If it's the same back four with Donnarumma between the sticks and we know we're going to have some defending to do, I'm quite confident now going into games where we need to defend with players like this in the squad. Very happy. Bernardo Silva, I've given him a 6.5, even with his assist. Bear that in mind, because he did get an assist, feeding Haaland to make it 3-0. I felt like he really struggled physically. Winning 3 out of his 13 ground duels is an indication of that. But don't forget, he entered into 13 ground duels. So that's Bernardo Silva, really. I just feel like his physicality was getting a little bit exposed yesterday, and he's never been one for physicality, but he could nick the ball. But to lose, what is that, 10 out of your 13 duels is a low percentage for Bernardo Silva. But like I said, he's still showing the attitude of not giving up at least. I have a bit of an issue with playing him on the right. Pep Guardiola, I'm surprised he played him there, in all honesty. You can see with the 5 dribble attempts, 0 of them completed. when was he ever going to go past Doku in that situation, or Luke Shaw, whoever it may have been down that side, for Bernardo Silva to beat his fullback or the left centre back? It's never been his game, point one, and now that's even less of his style because of his age and he needs to be a dictator in the middle of the pitch if he's going to be on the pitch. When you've got Savinho and Bob on the bench, it didn't make much sense to play Bernardo Silva other than he gets it. He gets it, and I think Bob gets it just as much. I really believe that as well, so I was surprised to see him play, so I've given him a 6.5, but he got an assist at the end of the day. Reinders, similar to Rodri. I'm not worried long term, but I'm disappointed in the 3 games that followed the Wolves performance from Tijjani Reinders, because I thought he was bloody unplayable in that game, obviously scoring 2, but since then he's sort of dwindled a little bit. Second half he did settle down a bit, but still there were some loose passes. And I was gutted with the chance that he missed when he went through on goal. You're thinking that's going to make it 4, and what a cherry on the cake that would have been. But I still believe that we have signed a top-class player here into Tijjani Reinders. He needs time as well, and I think he's going to get the time. He's going to play most games, and I think eventually he'll find his feet, and at the second half of the season we'll be all waxing lyrical about how good a signing Tijjani Reinders has been. I still firmly believe this is a baller we have here, and we have to stick by him. The start was brilliant, and it sort of dipped a little bit, and I think that's why, because it was such a spike at the beginning of his career, that it started to stand out the last 3 games. But don't worry, I think he'll be back. I really believe that. Foden, superb, absolutely superb. He was unbelievable for me. I thought he was so good. Just so good to see him back. The numbers aren't actually that great, to be honest, as you can see. But it's not about the numbers with Phil Foden in this performance in particular. It's the work rate. It's the class that just oozed, zipping passes around, the touches that he showed, receiving it deep from the back line, taking it on the half turn. Just the level of composure was just so reassuring from a midfield where Tijjani Reinders and Rodri were not reassuring. He was coming deeper and collecting the ball off the back line and just adding a level of composure that was very much needed. And do not underestimate the difficulty of that chance. Heading that into that far corner like that, that's not easy. He made it look easy, but it's not easy. It's not easy to get it exactly right like that. Really good finish from Foden. So good to see him back, and he created plenty of moments. The pass before the Doku assist as well, where he knocked it between his 2 feet, and one touch, bang. The first touch was a knock to his own foot, and then the second was a pass, an instant pass into Doku, and away he goes. 8.5 for Phil Foden. Really, really good. Doku showed what he's capable of for me. I think, he grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, and he was sensational. He bossed it. Came inside at times. He even, for the first goal as well, came over to the right-hand side with Nico O'Reilly filling up the left side. Gave Doku that opportunity to come inward a little bit. And he just demanded the ball throughout the game, and just like everything he did had purpose to it, had meaning to it. Going forward with aggression, dribbling past players, and I'm most impressed with the pass, the second assist, more than anything, because the dribble's sensational for the first goal. Cross was a bit fortunate how it came back to him, but to still have the ingenuity to get it back to Phil Foden, knowing you've been given a second opportunity, is really good. But the second pass was intense speed he's moving at, and then to have that finesse and delicacy to just like slide it through to Haaland. Haaland doesn't need to break stride. An assist from Doku to Erling Haaland. We haven't seen that in well, maybe I think we have, but not enough. We need to see more of that, please, because I'm so pleased to see Doku on the pitch and doing those things, because I think he had a poor start to the season, but that was what we want to see on a weekly basis from Jeremy Doku. Really, really good. Savinho came on for 13 minutes. Good to see him back. Couldn't really make much of an impact on this game, but I mean, I hope he can play a big role in Manchester City's successes going forward this season. One thing I loved more than anything, actually, was his celebration for Haaland's third goal, because he was on the bench wearing a yellow bib. If you remember, go back and watch the celebration. He sprinted down that touchline and was giving it fist bumps and everything and giving Haaland a big hug. Great to see that, because I was concerned about where his mind's at. Is he, still thinking about, I could have gone to Spurs. Spurs are on the up, seemingly at least, but he seemed absolutely dedicated to celebrating that goal with passion, and it clearly meant something to Savinho that City had gone 3-0 up. So I was buzzing to see that, and it's not even a thing he did on the pitch. I'm talking about while he's got a substitute's bib on, so buzzing to see that. Haaland, man of the match. Of course it's man of the match. Animalistic. He was a man possessed. It was relentless. It was a complete Erling Haaland performance. I couldn't believe that people have been doubting him this week. You know, people have been doubting this guy. I couldn't believe what I've seen. 6 clearances, 3 dribble attempts, 2 on target, 2 completed. Winning half of his ground duels. His passing percentage is reasonably high, actually, for Erling Haaland. 31 touches is a high number for him, actually. But the clearances is what stood out to me. Both ends of the pitch coming back, and the amount, it was like 4 in a row in the space of 5 minutes. He was just like, get out, get out, get out. And you as well, get out. Love it. Absolutely love it from Erling Haaland. I'm so pleased to see the passion. I want to see Haaland reach that level of passion week in, week out, though, because as much as he's been very good this season, I think he's been definitely one of our best performers. He looks like he's got the bit between his teeth. There's that extra level of passion I saw from him yesterday, that extra 1 or 2%. I just saw a bit more from him yesterday than I normally see, and I put that down to it being the Manchester derby. And again, he gets it. He gets it. So for me, yeah, I want to see it next week from Erling Haaland. So I've given him a 9.5, but I mean, absolutely sensational. Brilliant. And I thought there was Oscar Bob and Nathan Ake as well. They came on for a few minutes, so I'm not going to be talking about them because the amount of time they were on the pitch, not really worth it. But absolutely buzzing to be a Manchester City fan, celebrating a Manchester derby. We knew this game was important. Some are saying it was more important for City. I mean, yeah, whatever, man. It's all about United today, isn't it? It's all about United today and how bad they are. No one's going to give us credit today. Give a shit. Give a shit. We have to go and beat Napoli now. And then if we beat them and beat them convincingly with a performance like this, where the attitudes are just elite, top-tier attitudes, where there's just moments of quality without even the control. If we could add a level of control to our game with the attitudes and with the ability, the moments of quality, then we are looking back at Manchester City and saying we're back. If we can go on a run at least of 3 or 4 games playing like this, why wouldn't you say we're back? But you can't say it after this game, unfortunately, because it's been too often we've been given false hope that one game is not enough to say Manchester City are back. We need to see this consistently now. Come on, City. Absolutely buzzing. Let me know your thoughts, Blues, on this one. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now, holding up